Well, good evening again. It's Dr. G here. Relaxing, cup of coffee. I hope you're relaxing tonight. Maybe you're having dinner or just winding down from dinner. But I'm here reporting from Symposium Cafe in Barrie, Ontario. Beautiful Barrie, my hometown where I came when I was about 11 years old from Egypt as a young boy with a dream of becoming a doctor in this beautiful land of milk and honey. I didn't speak any English. I didn't speak uh, the language at all. I knew how to say sir and hi. I had two words. And thankfully, by God's grace and mercy, I was able to learn the language in a English immersion program. I continued on with my dream of becoming a doctor. And then I realized over years, once I got through my training, that it was a life of extremes with extreme lifestyle and extreme luxury at the same time. So really, I was blessed to be in a career in medicine. But then came the third part, which is the political schemes. So dreams, extremes, and political schemes. And this really, from looking outside in the life in medicine, I've really come to realize that there's a lot more to medicine, and I've been able to dig deep and research deeply into the history of organized medicine, what I call mainstream medicine, and realize that it's not what the dream was exactly. There's a lot of hidden landmines, there's a lot of hidden politics, a lot of hidden darkness in medicine. There's still some good, but clearly there's a lot of challenges. And so came the concept of Doc Talk with Dr. G. As I became aware in the last number of years of the incredible critical thinking of so many people, professionals, blue collar workers that really had common sense and started to really dig deeply into their own health and coming up with a solution for their own health, not relying solely on the authority of a medical doctor, a Western doctor, but looking at researching their own health and how they can help their own health and how they can enhance their immune system and live a life that's healthy and not necessarily dependent on organized medicine and their medical doctor. So tomorrow, I'm actually very excited. I wanted to just jump in tonight and talk to you about tomorrow, which is going to be a live interactive chat with Doc, I call it, or coffee with Doc. You can grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea after work, after dinner, and just relax. And we're going to talk about issues pertaining to health and wellness. Um, oh, it's good coffee. Um, I want to just talk about how, so far in the last few weeks in Doc Talk, we've covered a whole number of topics. And here you can see, started off and launched the program with the Road to Recovery from Organized Medicine. And that is essentially recovering from the programming of medicine. From day one of medical school, we were programmed to think only of health in one way and one way only. So I learned that, and I started to really recover from that sort of exclusive, one-sided, narrow view of health, which is only medical doctors have the authority to comment on health. Only medical doctors have the credibility of issues regarding health. And then I realized that the truth was quite far from this illusion that there's only one stakeholder in organized medicine. So, hi, hey Sherry. I'm going to put up some comments here. Um, just one moment here. I'm really enjoying this program here called StreamYard, and I'm able to uh, edit. I'm able to do different layouts. So here I can put up Sherry's comment here coming from Facebook, and we're coming from several streams. We're coming from Facebook. We're coming from YouTube and Rumble, as well as Twitter as well. So lots of different platforms here to get as much breadth as possible in terms of coverage. So we talked about the recovery, basically, of a medical doctor that was trained and programmed to think of health only in one way, and then realizing with critical appraisal, with ethics, and an open mind, which it's very difficult to have when you're inside that box of organized medicine. When you have an open mind, you realize that health and wellness is much more amenable to interventions that are less aggressive than pharma. Uh, Anybody that's on here, I see there's a number of viewers is building. Please add some comments, any comments here, and I'll post them regarding past programs. Comments on past programs. Also, please comment on future programs that you'd like to see covered in terms of health and wellness. So we went from organized medicine, recovering from organized medicine, unwiring years of programming, and I talked about that, a lot of details, to from cell to birth. And we had a program exclusively dedicated to the development of a fertilized egg or a zygote, going through the embryonic stages, going to become a fetus, and then being finally born outside the womb. But we saw the intricacies and the incredible sophistication and development right from day one, when the chromosomes merged from the father and the mother, and the child started their journey right from fertilization. And then we talked about the sophistication of the immune system and how the immune system, in fact, um, starts developing right from day one, right from the yolk sac. In the first few days of birth, the unborn child already has an immune system that's developing, already developing macrophages, which is part of the army of the immune system, produced from the liver, intestinal tract being part of it, the bone marrow, the thymus in the neck, the spleen, and the lymph nodes. And we talked about the sophistication of the immune system in combating any attacks upon it. Obviously, something that's not going to be covered much in mainstream medicine, and sadly, not even covered much in medical school. We don't have a robust series of lectures on the immune system, but we do have a vaccine schedule that we have to memorize. We do have pharmacological uh, lectures and specialists that tell us about pharmacology. And really, pharmacology and vaccines are the epicenter of a lot of our training, just memorizing the vaccine schedule and memorizing medications after you diagnose illness. So I see a number of people are coming on here. Thank you for the likes and the loves. I see some hearts there. But also, please feel free to comment. I really welcome your comments, which can kind of help to direct and steer tomorrow's program, as well as future programs as well. And then we talked about the DNA system, the incredible complexity of the DNA, which is really our program, the program that we have inside us from the moment of conception. And we saw how there's 300 billion letters that make up the genetic code, the DNA code. 300 billion. And what does that mean? Well, it means basically if you put one letter down per second, it would take 50 years to actually write out 300 billion letters. And that's what makes us up. That's our identity. That's the gender that we have. There are two genders, male, female, just to clarify that in case there's any confusion. But biologically, male, female. And then you have the color of your eyes, the color of your hair, um, your gender, and many other parts of you as a human being. And that also includes your personality as well, and your temperament. And then we went on to talk about critical appraisal. How do you look at a health question, and how do you start in terms of analyzing the answer to that question that you might have? And from this program, I was really honored to have several one-on-one uh, consultations, coaching, to really navigate people through questions that they have about either their own health or health of a loved one, or just any question related to health. And we talked about how we go right for, if we can get a good meta-analysis study that's free of any bias, free of any conflicts, that's going to be give us our best answer. And then from there, other analyses and randomized controlled studies as well are quite strong. And then we talked about the multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry, and looked through all the various programs that are available, sort of clumped them and clustered them together: low carb, low fat, high protein, balance, meal replacement. And we critically analyzed those programs to see if there's any evidence that actually they're cost effective. And we found out, just in really brief summary, that short-term results are good, 3 to 6 months, and then the results start to fall off after a year. Very high relapse in terms of the weight coming back on after a year. And then we had the near-death experience. If you remember, we interviewed a gentleman who was actually struck by lightning and had a very vivid and real out-of-body experience. After he struck by lightning, he started ascending into the skies and saw a very bright light. He thought at the time it was the sun, and then eventually, after about 10 minutes of having a cardiac arrest and being resuscitated, defibrillated, he came back to life and has very vivid memory. And then we were asking the question, basically, are these pure brain waves, or is this truly a separation of spirit and body? Here's Karen. Karen, I just put up your comment here. So Karen McDonald comment, would love to hear advice on the best nutrition for our bodies. I think great question, Karen. I think we can dedicate a session specifically to that. And this nutrition is something, sadly, that's really lacking in our medical training. I mean, we get very little instructions in terms of nutrition. So I think that's a great topic. Sherry, can having thyroid cancer mess up the immune system? Great question. So the question is, which comes first? So sort of the chicken or the egg? Did thyroid cancer develop because of deficiency in the immune system, Sherry, or did thyroid cancer result in compromise of the immune system? That's a great question. That's really a question, I think, almost a standalone question for a topic. Cancer. Why do cancers develop? What's the impact of cancers on the immune system? And are they a barometer of some deficiency in the immune system? I think that's a great topic. Let's put up Mary's comment. Mary, I'm just going to see if I can get myself a little bit smaller there so I don't get obstructed by the letters. Okay, so Mary, the development of the unborn child, yes, I get a lot of great feedback on that, and the immune system as well as the near-death experience. Those were all very popular topics. So thank you so much for all your comments. I really appreciate that. And then we went on and had the program about the tragic death of Tatiana, or Tat Blackburn, and we spoke to her father and her fiance at the time, Father Scott, fiance Matt, and sadly she did not have an out-of-body experience where she came back. She went on, as her father and Matt believe, went on to eternity. Her spirit was separated from her body, and it's there's a lot of literature on this, on the separation of the spirit and the body. And we saw Johnny, who reported about experiencing that. We have got neurosurgeons and many doctors who've had cardiac arrest, who've had the out-of-body experience. Thank you very much. It's a really nice interactive program here. So Julie, I'm going to put your comment here for Sherry. So Julie here is saying to you, I have something I can send you on the thyroid. Just listen to a functional medicine lecture on the thyroid. If you send me your email, I can share it with you. So Sherry, if you feel comfortable sending your email here, or you can send it to me privately. And Julie, you can also message me, and I'll make sure that you get connected with Sherry. I'm just going to put up the email here, doctalkwithdrg@gmail.com. This is fantastic because we can kind of connect people together. And again, be mindful, do some research, use the principles of evidence-based medicine I talked about. And if you'd like me to weigh in on the quality of the research on any of these questions, please let me know. Okay, great comments. So thank you so much, all. Okay, so Sherry, is it okay? Is it okay to put up your email here? Let me know if it's okay to put up your email. Okay, I'll continue here. If it's okay, I'll put up your email publicly. So those were the topics that we covered. So a lot of really good topics here, and here we are. Well, this is turning into a bit of a mini program itself. We're 20 minutes into it, but tomorrow, please come with some questions and comments, and I'm going to make notes to cover the questions that you're burning to have answered, and also I'd really like to hear your feedback on last programs. Okay, so Sherry, thank you so much for that. So Julie, here's Sherry's email. Are you still on here, Julie Minta? Connecting you with Sherry to discuss functional medicine lecture on the thyroid. And then if you'd like me to weigh in on that, Sherry, you can email it to me and I'll review it for you as well and get you an opinion on that. Okay. So we're just going to wind down here. A couple more comments. Okay, so thank you, Julie. So you got the information that you sent to Sherry. Okay, so Mary, Scott, and Tracy Blackburn and Matt, truly amazing. Tat's place is a blessing and an honor to Tat. Thanks, Mary, for that comment. I agree 100%. And Scott, if you're listening tonight, may you be blessed. You were an inspiration to so many of the listeners. Had some great feedback, and you touched the lives of a lot of people, sharing your pain and anguish. There's one lady that emailed me afterward, and she said she had lost her second son. Scott, if you're listening to this, she lost her second son tragically and suddenly, and she found that the anguish that you shared, the process of healing, what helped you, was tremendously helpful to her. I'll keep her name confidential now. Be assured that on Doc Talk, everything is confidential unless you're willing to share it publicly. I'll always get your permission and consent. Medical information is of utmost privacy, and it's shameful what we've seen in the last 3 years of medical dictators invading people's privacies when they invade and raid doctors' offices. Absolutely shameful and disgraceful. We've seen governments demanding people's private health information, employers, something we have never seen before, a complete lawlessness and breach of all ethics of the Hippocratic Oath and Nuremberg Code. But thankfully, it looks like we're on the tail end of it. People have had enough. Have had enough of the completely disgraceful and dishonorable and unethical conduct of people in positions of authority that should know better. Now, I said with Doc Talk, I would try as best as I can to not be overly political. However, one cannot keep their head in the sand when you see evil in medicine, evil where there should be ethics and morality. It has to be called out. I can't keep your head in the sand and say, oh, it's no big deal. No, it's a big deal. What's happened, breach of privacy, coercion for medical interventions is absolutely despicable and evil and unethical. And it's incredible that these people have gotten away with it. But there will be a time of accountability, and there's already a lot of truth that have come out. So, okay, so thank you all for this, I guess, spontaneous preamble to tomorrow's program. I look forward to seeing you. I'm really literally here. It's very casual. I got a cup of coffee. And so tomorrow, please come with your questions and your comments, and we'll be talking about past programs, and also we'll be talking about any future programs. So Miguel bless you. This is Dr. Imad G reporting from Symposium Cafe in Barrie, Ontario. And we'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30. Okay, we'll be live I will put up all the links for Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, and so that you can come on any of those programs, and any comments that come from any of those platforms will be on here, and I will post them. Okay, blessings, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being engaged and involved tonight. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.